If you belong to God, you are never alone. True service is not about recognition, but about surrender and love. True protection does not come from any miracles, but from the faith, from surrender, and the constant remembrance of God. So, friends, very good morning to all of you. Myself, Poonam Modi from Cuttack, Odisha. So, first of all, I would like to thank Pradeep sir and the core team members of BEHF for giving such selfless service and for giving such platform, such opportunity to us. So, friends, today we gather here to reflect upon a sacred book, Miracle of Love, a divine journey by Ramdas. This is not a book of stories. Some stories not only live on the paper, they go beyond the words. They go deep down our heart and quietly they transform us. So, today we will speak about the life of such a soul who has made love his dharma and seva his sadhana. He did not give long lectures or any philosophy, yet with a simple glance, with pure compassion, he transformed life of many. So this is a story of a life of a saint whose life is soaked in love and humility. His journey was divine, one who touched countless hearts, and not only in India, but in the different parts of the country. His name is Neem Karoli Babaji. Now, let us move forward to know the true events and the true stories about his life. So, these stories are not the miracles or the magics. They are simply the expressions of the divine, the presence of God working through him, the presence of God, the power of God working through him. Friends, now let us understand the basic about his childhood and how did he got this name. So, Neem Karoli Baba was born around in 1900 in Uttar Pradesh in a Brahmin family. His childhood name was Lakshman Das. From a very young age, he lived in a state of deep detachment mode. Unlike other children, he was inward looking. He often reflected deeply on life, feelings, and emotions. He had the pattern of self realizations and he always focused deep about his feelings and his emotions. Self inquiry and silence were natural to him. He was in the nature of always in self inquiry. He would sit in hours for meditation. He absorbed an inner world that was beyond the ordinary understanding. So, seeing this nature, his unusual nature, his father was very much worried about him, and he thought when he get married, might Lakshman Das bring back to what society considered a normal life. But this was not his destiny. Soon after, Lakshman Das left his home as his spiritual journey was calling him. He began a long journey, meeting many saints and gurus on his journey along the way. Through these, his spiritual depth continued to unfold. Throughout his life, Neem Karoli Baba firmly believed and lived by one truth. He strongly believed and spread this without the guidance of a and grace of a true guru, it is impossible to realize God. This faith in the guru became the foundation of his life and teachings. So now let us understand who is Neem Karoli Baba, a saint for his simplicity and compassion. So he had no formal teachings, and his devotees experienced a lot of miracles under him. So Baba's nature was extremely simple and humble. He lived without any outer displays, yet his presence was filled with divine love. He became a living example of simplicity in its purest form. He was a great example for compassion and love towards everyone. So, anyone who came into the presence of Baba, they felt an overwhelming sense of love and compassion. There was something in his eyes that goes deep, so filled with grace, it touched the very depth of the heart and stayed there forever. It quietly transformed. He was a saint for his simplicity and compassion. He had no boundaries, the divine presence. He never gave formal teachings or long lectures, yet countless devotees experienced transformations and what they described as miracles simply through his grace. So, friends, now let us see what was the role as a teacher and what was his guidance. So, he never believed himself as a great guru. He strongly believed and always prayed, Guru guides you on the path of the God. He instantly sees through people, and his miracles are not meant just to impress the devotees, rather to awaken them. So, Babaji embodied all the qualities of a great guru, but he never considered himself as a great one. With utmost humility, he always emphasized that nothing is impossible without the guidance of a true guru. So, according to him, it is the guru who helps us understand what God truly is, not through the concepts, not through the knowledge alone, but through the direct experiences. A guru does not merely show the path, the guru helps the seekers to evolve themselves, to rise above the ego, to rise above the fear, to rise above the attachments, and grow in love and awareness, to grow in compassion. Maharajji often appeared to know everything about his devotees being told without being told. He seemed aware of the people's thought. He was aware of their past actions and events which are happening far away from him. So he has that quality which people said as a miracle, yet he never presented. Yet he never presented this as a supernatural power or his achievement. For devotees slowly realized. So then, when he never presented all these as miracles, the devotees realized that Babaji was not limited by time, space, and the mind. So his awareness went beyond the physical presence. He reflected people's hidden fears, desires, and attachments, and as if holding a mirror to the inner world. He could see the fear, the thoughts, and the desires of his devotees. So he worked as a mirror to their inner world, for his devotees. So this was not to judge or expose, but awaken by bringing unconscious patterns to the surface. He gently guided devotees towards surrender, trust, faith, and unconditional love. So he used his divine knowing not for display or control, but solely to lead the souls back to the God, back to their real home, back to the other side, helping them dissolving their ego by softening their heart and remember their true nature. So, friends, now comes the play of the divine, the Leela. The life of the Neem Karoli Babaji was full of Leela. He could appear like childlike one moment and the cosmic the other moment. Devotees see him appear in multiple places at the same time. He helps his devotees, he rescues people from danger from far also. His miracles point infinite divine love that is beyond logic. So, Babaji never explained spiritual truths through formal teachings or great philosophies. Instead, he taught his devotees through the divine play, through the Leela. His actions often appeared illogical to the mind. The play were not understood, the Leela was not understood by his devotees at that moment, but his actions often appeared illogical to the mind. Yet each of the Leela carried a deep spiritual purpose that was known only by the heart. So behind every Leela, there was always one simple and eternal message. Behind every Leela, he always had a divine message, and the message was love everyone, serve everyone, and remember God. At times, he appeared like a simple villager. At times, he appeared like a madman beyond the social norms. And the other times, he appeared like a strict guru. So, yet in every form, he was exactly the way what the devotees wanted by him at that present moment. So often, a single glance, a single touch, he was so enlightened that a single touch or just one word from Babaji was enough to silently transform the life of his devotees without the dharma, without explanation, and only through the grace. There were many incidents in the book that shows Neem Karoli Baba protecting and rescuing his devotees from danger, even when they were physically far away from him. So, his awareness was not limited only by the distance, by time, or the physical presence. Devotees experience sudden inner warnings, some recoveries from illness, escapes from the accidents, and protections at critical moments, always happening exactly at the time of danger. So these events were not the coincidences, rather, they were the expressions of the divine grace. When we constantly remember the God, so we definitely get His divine grace. So Babaji never claimed, yet despite of all such miracles, he never claimed any credit for these miracles. Instead, he gently reminded devotees that God is always taking care of you. Through such expressions, fear dissolves and the heart was filled with the deep trust in the divine. So, by practicing this, the fear transforms into the faith. Although these incidents appeared miraculous, but Babaji emphasizes that the true protection does not come from miracles, but from faith, from surrender, and the constant remembrance of God. So his silent and powerful message was always clear. If you belong to God, you are never alone. So, friends, while reading this book, so this particular sentence, this touched my heart also. I would like to repeat this sentence. True protection does not come from any miracles. True protection does not come from any miracles, but from the faith, from surrender, and the constant remembrance of God. So, moving forward, one of the very most what he taught is the seva and devotion, the selfless service and devotion, bhakti. So, Babaji always emphasized on seva and bhakti. He always believed that serving others is serving God. So he always encouraged to feed people, to helping the poor. This was also very much reflected, very much spread by Babaji to feed the poor, hungry people and help the poor people. So, Neem Karoli Baba taught Seva, the selfless service, and Bhakti, to be in loving devotion, are not the separate paths, but rather one living practice. When the heart is filled with love for God and service, flows naturally without effort or expectations. So, through seva and bhakti, he guided his seekers to move beyond the ego and to discover the God in all beings. He reminded devotees that true service is not about recognition but about surrender and love. So Babaji always asked his devotees to serve without ego, to serve without love, without any conditions. According to him, when service is done with love, it becomes a worship itself. For Maharajji, every act of seva, feeding the hungry people, helping the sufferers, or serving silently, was placed at the feet of God. He always prayed and believed that when we do seva with selfless love, it is considered as a worship to the God only. Maharaji also taught not through the words but through his emotions and feelings. He expressed spiritually by feeding the hungry, caring for the animals, serving the sick, and meeting every situations and people anytime with deep love and compassion. So for him, spiritual practice was more higher, ensuring that no one went hungry. Feeding others was not charity for him, it was rather worship. In serving food, he served God himself. Through very simple, such simple words, act of love, Babaji showed that true spirituality is lived, not spoken, and at the surest part of God through the compassion and the selfless service. And his silent instructions were always very clear: feed people, help people, and always love people. Throughout this book, he shows again and again that selfless love and service are the direct path for liberation, is the direct path for God, bringing one closer to the divine. By the practice of selfless service, we can come closer to the divine. When service is done without ego, without the expectations of the reward, it purifies the heart and leads us towards the freedom. Services offered with love becomes worship, and such seva slowly dissolves the ego. It slowly dissolves the me and mine. So, when served without attachment, your heart opens and the compassion flows. The compassion flows naturally. The book Miracle of Love reveals that seva is not separate from enlightenment. Rather, it is enlightenment in action. Friends, it's like we always seek for the enlightenment. But by reading this book, I can understand this. Uh, by seeking enlightenment, we can't get enlightened. By doing the selfless service and seva, we can be enlightened in action. So, friends, let's move forward. Now comes Neem Karoli Baba's teaching. What was his central teachings? So, wisdom through simple words. He always used very simple words and he was always very simple and profound. All is one, sab ek. This was one of his central teaching in this book. And he believed that love is the strongest medicine and attachment is the biggest suffering of human suffering for reason for the suffering for the humans, and the best form of worship is seva. So the central teaching according to this book by Neem Karoli Baba is very simple and profound. Love everyone, serve everyone, and remember God. He showed that self realization does not come through the words of philosophies, but it comes through a life lived with love and compassion, life lived with faith, humility. And again, he reminded his devotees of the simple truth Sab ek hai, all is one. We all are same. Through his actions and words, he dissolves the sense of separation between the self and the others, revealing the same divine consciousness lives in everywhere and in everything. According to him, all living beings and anytime and everything, they have the same divine consciousness. So, in his version, to harm others was to harm oneself. He always believed that harming others is not harming others, it is harming yourself only. He also gently revealed that attachment binds the mind and creates suffering. Attachment is the root cause of human suffering. Suffering arises when attachment is mixed with expectations and ego. Maharajji always asked people to go inward, to go your to do your inner journey, to act, to serve, to love fully, yet always remain detached with the results. Don't expect, be detached. He often taught people through paradox also, appearing strict yet tender at the same moment, revealing like an ordinary person, yet a divine at the same moment, guiding seekers beyond logic into the living truth. So, friends, now comes the essence of the book. So, according to him, love is the highest path to reach the God. God is present in all beings. Service only purifies our heart. Guru's grace is infinite and beyond reasons. Miracles are expressions of love and not magic. So, his entire teaching in this book was not to convince us, rather, it was to awaken the love already which exists within us, to bring the hidden love, to bring out the hidden love which already exists within all of us. Again and again, he emphasized love everyone, love everyone. His very presence radiated a love that transformed people instantly. He taught, when you see God in everyone, you naturally serve and love everyone. Friends, like we speak miracle of love. So actually, what is this miracle? It is not a mere magic or any, you can say, abracadabra. It's rather a miracle of your inner transformation. It's a shift from your fear to the faith consciousness, from separation to the oneness consciousness. Lastly, and most importantly, the real miracle is love and only love, the vibration that makes every true miracle possible. So, friends, Miracle of Love is not merely just an autobiography of Neem Karoli Babaji. It is an example to power the pure love, grace, and the selfless services done through compassion and the unconditional love. This book shows that the true spirituality is not knowledge alone, but in seva and devotion and the selfless love. Neem Karoli Baba taught that feeding the hungry, serving the others, and loving everyone as God is the highest form of spirituality, is the highest form of practicing spirituality. For him, love was itself the miracle. The central message of the book is Hum sab ek hain, all is one. No boundaries of religion and experience unity in surrender. He tells when ego falls, grace flows. When we drop our ego, grace flows naturally from our heart. Ultimately, Miracle of Love invites the reader to move from seeking God to becoming love in the action. So, friends, this is one of my takeaway from this book. By reading this book, like my seeking towards God has transformed to becoming a person in all who is always in a love energy. So, friends, thank you so much. I hope you liked, and thank you so much for supporting, for listening me. I would like to share one of my experience. It was like some days before, I went for a holiday with my family somewhere near Nainital. So it was like I was just scrolling my mobile. A reel came about Neem Karoli Babaji. So before that, I have never heard about him. I didn't I didn't knew anything about him. And a reel came, and by seeing that, I was like, I had a quest to visit his ashram to know about him. And I requested my husband also, let's move there, let's see what is that. But somehow it was not possible as my flight was scheduled and all. So then it was gone. We were back. And when during this selection of the book presentation, when I selected two, three books, and someone else took that book. So then again, I selected this book. When I selected this book, I had no idea that it was about Neem Karoli Baba. So when I started reading the book, when I came to know that it was about Neem Karoli Baba, so then again I felt that yes, it was the divine time. So now the quest to visit that ashram is not that more by after reading this book, after reading his autobiography. Thank you.